they enter, they begin to utter and they enter into it totally, so that it lives in all these vehicles and we do not live. That is the process. Therefore, eternal knowledge is described like this. To know everything, we have three aspects. The one person who knows in us, the object which is known by us, and the process of knowing. We have three activities. While reading a book, you will be there who reads. The book will be there which is read. And the process of reading, the activity is there. This is called the spiritual grammar or the construction of a sentence. That is subject, object and predicate.
We say meditation, study and word service is the same triangle.
Meditation, study
and word service.
And service.
Word and service.
Word service.
Yes.
Word service and study should merge in meditation, and the three should be one process.
Yes.
That is, it is exactly.
Yes.
So here we have three different entities in the beginning. The one who utters Om, the Om that is being uttered, and the process of uttering. When all these three merge in the background consciousness, it is one. The oneness of the three cease to exist and one thing exists. That is what is called the eternal awareness. The experience in the eternal awareness is no second thing except only one consciousness. So this is what is called making a total surrender of yourself to the Lord consciousness. It is said we have to make a total surrender, that is offering oneself or dedicating oneself. This process is called, this process of japa process is called total surrender. Through this we will get the total surrender. And there are some supplementaries and accessories which help you. You should also follow those things. That is, they are given now here. The one is called devotion. That means sustained effort with veneration. That is the definition of devotion. Sustained effort, that is continuous effort with veneration. Because whenever there is regularity, there is also monotony. So you have to neutralize monotony and keep up regularity. What is the difference between a mathematician solving a problem and a computer solving a problem? The same. The computer solving a problem is mechanical and the mathematician solving a problem is vital. The difference is, in the case of the mathematician, it takes place in the personality and other mechanism. It is a conscious process of the individual. In the case of a machine, it occurs in the Deva kingdom and millions of devas take part in it. Therefore, there is neither individual, nor personality, nor soul in it. It's a very subtle difference. While a computer is working, you will very easily understand that millions and millions of devas take part in it. Though we may do it for fun many times using the computer or an instrument. The whole process is mechanical. You have to keep it off from becoming mechanical. This is what is required. Otherwise, what happens? When you begin to follow the yogic discipline, after 2 months or 3 months, you lose interest in it. And it becomes quite normal with us. That is because while starting, it was not the interest for the higher that made us start, but it was the curiosity nature that made us start. Curiosity nature doesn't sustain long, it goes away because it wants a change. So, when the monotony takes place, and when the process is mechanized by us, we lose interest in it. Or we will do it like a dead machine, and there is no progress. So, continuous awareness of devotion, that is, sustained effort with veneration, that is an absolute necessity in this. Another thing, second thing required is application. This is first, and the second is, please take down, application of your available energy. That's the second item. We have energies being supplied every moment, and we apply to the various things in the world, but you have to apply to this. Does that mean we have to stop all the daily activity? Some people understood like that. They have retreated into the forests and they could get nothing.
Is it to say that we have to know what race are incarnated in our beings? Is that in that direction?
It is absolutely necessary.
Yes?
Yes. It is a must in the second item. So, our energy centers are producing energy. We have some energy in every plane of consciousness, and you apply this energy only in that direction. That means your vocational work, your office, your domestic duties, social duties, all these things should be included in the attempt or effort. Not that they are excluded. If they are excluded, somebody has to feed you, and automatically you will be a monk or a beggar who has to depend upon others for your wants. And another injunction of yoga practice is aparigraha in Sanskrit. That means you should not accept anything gratis. So here comes the conflict between the two. If you have the need that others should feed you or give you something because you stop everything and go to yoga, then there is no yoga. It is said you pay to the society worth 300 francs, for example, and receive 100 francs of material or facility, not money. That is the injunction given for yogis. So the second thing is application of the available energy. This is what Blavatsky says. The path accepts no other activity. No other activity. That is what Madam Blavatsky says. The path accepts no other activity. That means your activity should be included in this. Your food, your drink, your habits, your conversations, your social relationships, domestic relationships, official matters, everything should include in this. This is the second thing. So gradually you have to work out every field of your activity tending towards that direction. It is only your attitude that makes everything include in this. This is the second aspect. Is it clear? And the third aspect. Develop dwelling in your impressions about the discipline, about the process. You should. It is inevitable that we are having some impressions in the world. We are having impressions about others, our friends, our enemies, and about circumstances, about places, towns, cities. We have impressions. Now, you begin to create and develop your impressions about what you are practicing. Gradually, the impression creation will be included in the activity. Then what we call other impressions will disappear. No use of fighting the other impressions because we begin to dwell in them. Create impressions about this so that you may have a constant touch and a constant sensation of what you do. We say you should be in touch with the affairs. Sometimes we speak, we use that phrase. Get into touch with the world affairs. We often say. Affairs are not persons, they are our psychological activity. But we are getting into touch with our thoughts. So, get into touch with the impressions and thoughts produced about your path. Just become aware of these things, it becomes possible, that's all. It is only a growing awareness into the various petals of the activity. Then, he says, your consciousness should be invested into the process. Make an investment of your consciousness into the process. If you are eating, the taste and the satiation should be invested into the process. If you are working in the office, think of the usefulness of your work as service invested into your process. So you should make a wise investment of your consciousness, just as the experienced businessman makes a wise and clever investment of his money. The wise businessman makes an investment of sometimes lakhs of dollars, millions of dollars, but he knows how to get the double. Similarly, with consciousness, you should do it. These are the additional aspects which you are expected to know and put in practice. Then a question comes to your mind. How long does it take to get at a stability in the process or a perfection. How long we should make an attempt to apply ourselves like this? And the answer is until that question disappears from your mind. That is the answer given by the others. They are very, very intricate fellows. As long as the question is there, you are different and the process is different. So you have not identified yourself with the process. You have to do it until the question disappears from your mind, or you get away from the process and live as an ordinary man and wait until you can do it. There should not be a halfway, because it kills our time either way. If we are half interested, it leads us to curiosity of knowing many things and reading many books about the process, spiritualism, yoga, etc. Going to many yogic schools and prying through the window what they are doing and how it is different from the other methods and how the various philosophies differ from each other. Then the whole life is burnt like oil for nothing. So it is a waste. So stop doing this, or don't remain outside. That is the advice given. Either you make a total dedication of yourself, or if you do not think that it is worthwhile, stay outside and enjoy the world according to your own concept of enjoyment totally. Because if you make a half attempt here, you lose there. That is what is advised. That means we have to wait until the proper time in evolution comes. So they are very clever people. Don't waste the time either here or there, because it is your time and it is too precious. If you want to make a better use of your time in business or in job or in getting engagements, you do it completely, don't do this. If you want to do this, forget about all those things. So halfway is always dangerous in the sense that it burns and kills the whole span of life and the energies. Energies are spent meaninglessly by doing this process halfway. So spiritualism halfway is most dangerous. We see many people becoming great scholars in the science of spiritualism, going to various places and trying to find out how that particular school is doing it, how they are doing it, and trying to understand which way is the best, and try to know where does the truth exist in all. There are thousands of theories, philosophies. Sometimes people try to weigh things and know which is more true. The answer given by these people is, truth is broken into the various theories and processes of the world. Every piece contains truth, but no piece is true. The totality is true. Therefore, don't go into curiosity. That is what they say. If a pot is broken, he says, every piece of the pot contains the pot matter in it, but it cannot serve the purpose of a pot. Similarly, every activity in this world and every philosophy and every ideology is made up of truth, and there is a grain of truth, but it doesn't serve you the purpose of truth. That is how they describe it. So here, these advices are given. Yes. So, consciousness should be made a total investment into the continuous awareness of the process. And about the question, how long does it take? It takes until that question disappears from your mind. The delay is the question. The attitude of questioning keeps you different from what you do. Therefore, it is the delay. When the question disappears totally from your mind, there is nothing like delay, because you are already what you do. It is yourself. Next, the application of the process is done passively by some and intensely by some. So there are two types of application of the discipline. Passive way of applying, intense way of applying. Or this can be called active when translated. Active way of applying. In every walk of life you will find two types of minds, the passive mind and the active mind. If you go to a college and observe the students, some are passive to the education they receive it, but some are active and they receive every part of it. And if you see the busy world about the opportunities of life, some are passive, they receive minimum number of opportunities for success and they are contented with it. But some people are very active and they catch every opportunity and they are fully successful. And there is a third who think that they are active, but they are crazy, not active. They are busy and not active. They fail miserably. Here also the same, because the same human being is working here also. In the world affairs, you find these three types of people. Passive people, active people, and busy people are neurotics, are crazy fellows, the third type. They are busy, they are crazy. That is why, because they are busy, they cannot achieve anything at all. The second type, they are active, they can achieve everything and they receive the reward, whether it is money or happiness or anything. They receive fully and totally and have life as privilege. The first type are passive, they are contented with what comes to them automatically. The second type are active, they can swallow and devour everything without leaving even a morsel. The third type are very anxious, therefore they lose and miss everything miserably. This is how they have described. So there is the passive and active methods of application of the yoga also. If you choose the second one, the duration will be short. That is to say that the duration is shortened by applying your energy actively and intensely. Actively and intensely. And he says, let there be a uniform rate of increase in the effort. Uniform rate of increase. See how a good electrical railway train gains its maximum speed without yourself being conscious of it. So you should have shock absorbers in this process also. Otherwise, neurosis and nervousness, that is shock. If you speed up immediately, you are obliged to stop. At every step, curiosity spoils the whole game. Curiosity gives the unnecessary and ununiform speed. When the speed is not uniform, there are many accelerations and retardations. Then the process is very rough and you receive too many bumps and shocks. That is what here is. Uniform rate of increase of the intensity. All these things you should be conscious. And there are 3 modes of your applying also. There are 3 different modes or manners of how people apply themselves to the world affairs or the yoga, anything. That is called modalities or modes. They are some people can apply softly. Some people opposite, apply sharply. Some people apply with moderation. Moderation. That is, at every step you should be satisfied. That is what is called moderation. A sense of dissatisfaction gives the opposite modality. Excess. That is what is called ardent nature or excess. When you have this type of application, in the beginning you will begin to speak of yoga only with every fellow on the street. And you will be ridiculed as a buffoon. And within a very short period, you begin to hate the process. Because you too feel inconvenient of the ridicule you receive. Because when continuously you are treated as a buffoon or a clown, then the opposite action will be the reverse. And intense. Yet the process should be intense. The opposite is loose. Those who make this type of attempt, they stop halfway way and they drop off. Those who apply the modality which is soft, moderate and intense, they will continue. That is what he says. So the more ardent unnecessarily you are, the more is the probability of being lost and coming again. Drop off. And we should be conscious of these aspects. Though minor, these facets are also as important as the process itself. So, Mrudu, Madhya, Achimatra, 3 types. By following this process, he says, you will have the touch, the experience, the sensation of the Lord of your consciousness, who is in you. Once again, let us have a recapitulation or revision of who is the Lord. And you need not take down anything, just follow it. we have the activity of the five senses and the environment in the form of the objects of the five senses and the mind that is receiving these activities. It is negative pole or receiving pole of ourselves, the not self, because the activity depends upon environment. And there is the one from whom all these five faculties are emerging as the rays of the sun. That is the positive pole of your existence, who is the Lord. So, the reactive activity to the environment of the mind and the senses should be absorbed into the Lord consciousness in you. All these things should be totally dedicated or surrendered to the center of consciousness, the Lord of consciousness. He is positive or transmitting, the rest is negative or receiving. So the negative pole of your existence, of your consciousness, should be totally dedicated and absorbed into the Lord consciousness. Then your mind, your body and senses will receive a touch, continuous touch, a sensation and a feeling and an experience of the Lord consciousness.
Kannst du das übersetzen? Was ausgedrückt ist durch Christus nicht mein, sondern dein Wille geschehe.
Could it be said that that which Christ expresses, thine will, not mine?
Yeah, thine will be mine, exactly. And also he says, I come down from my Father in heaven. That is, the five senses and the mental activity comes down from the Father in heaven. And he says, I am not going to exist with you for long. That means this should not exist here for long. He says, I am going to return to my Father in heaven soon. These three sentences give us the formula of the whole process. Poor fellows, they thought that he was speaking of the crucifixion. After the crucifixion, the poor fellows interpreted everything like that. He was already knowing that he would not live for a long time, that the people would crucify him and that he will go to the Lord and all that. Like that they interpreted. Now about the Lord consciousness. We will speak a few things about the Lord, whom we call the Lord of the soul or Lord of activity of the sense of the mind into two types. That is, right application and wrong application. We said right application gives comfort, wrong application gives complication. In the beginning, he has given us. The Lord is free from complications. That is the first thing he gives. That means he is not touched by the complications made by mind and senses. Even though the mind and senses make complications, he is not touched by these things. Either the mind should solve the complications for itself or should postpone them foolishly or should make a total surrender so that the complications are burnt away. Only three processes. It is not useful to think that we make complications and every day we make a confession to him and he washes off our complications. That is a foolish idea. That promotes us to get more complications because we are sure that He will wash them away. So our poor idea of God is a wash basin or a detergent soap. Certainly it was intended for the total dedication or offering, but it is converted into a confession cabin.
Yes.
Everything has its counterfeit, because the mind is a big trickish fellow. He can discover a nice counterfeit for everything. So it encourages us to do more crimes because they can be washed off. Because when we know that we have a good laundry very near, we can more misuse the clothes. That's not the thing intended in the scriptures. And that's not the thing intended by Christ or any master. So here he says, he is not influenced or touched, and he does not stand responsible for the complications we get. That is, we means the mind and the senses. Either we should solve them for ourselves, and in trying to solve, we purchase more complications. That is our experience in this world. When we have some complications, we try to solve them, and we try to do something else which complicates us once again in trying to escape, because the mentality to escape makes us involved in more dangerous things. But he is ready. Whenever the total surrender is made, an attempt is made for total surrender, he is ready to receive us, but we should cross the gate without anything with us. We cannot take our suitcase or the baggage inside. That's why it is said, it is easy for an elephant to pass through the eye of a needle. That is how the saying goes. Because we are expected to pass through the customs gate as we are, without smuggling anything or taking anything with us. Here the international customs between the land of human beings and the land of God, children of God, is very strict. If we try to take one idea with us, we are stopped and asked to wait until we leave the baggage there. All these things are described here. And this Lord is beyond time. That is the second aspect he gives. Beyond time. Because time exists as long as your mind exists. Time began to exist to you only after your mind is born. Time doesn't exist in the watch. Watch is only a machine. And there is nothing like time in the objective sense. Time is nothing but our perception of time. Okay. So he is beyond time. And the third point he gives is, he is the master of all masters. That is the third point. Most important. Purveshamapi Guru Kalena Anavacheda. He is the Guru of Gurus. Because if we learn something from our masters, suppose we say Archimedes principle, we can have a doubt. How could we know it? That is from the physics textbook. How the author of the textbook could know it? From another author. How he could know it? From Archimedes. How Archimedes could know it is the question. Then the master is the Lord in everyone. So there should be a first man who invented it. How could he get it? So he says, he is the master of masters through time. And he is beyond time. And every master receives his wisdom from him through another master who has already received. Just as a piece of iron is made a magnet with the help of an already magnetized piece. This is what is called Guru. Therefore, he defines the Lord of Consciousness as the real Guru. That does not mean we have to defy the physical Guru, but the real Guru in the physical Guru and yourself and the Guru of the Guru, all the masters, is the real master. This is a little about the Lord of the Consciousness. You have now an idea of what japa is, how to utter his name, Om, how to listen to it, how to get a touch of it, how to think of its meaning and significance, and while doing so, how to enter into himself and get yourself burnt or disappeared. He lives in your vehicles. That is called japa. When you do this japa, you will get, according to the next sutra of Patanjali, face-to-face experience with the Lord. That is what he says. Prachek Chetana Athigama. Face-to-face experience, face-to-face understanding with the Lord. It's a very intricate sutra, because face-to-face means when you see the faces of others, you will see his face. That should be the goal. So it is uttering Om. Face to face. And another thing you get by the first touch with him is absence of obstacles. That's more important. Absence of obstacles. Because obstacles exist to the mind and the senses. There are 9 types of obstacles to a yoga student. And they are enumerated like this. We have to know them, because unless we know them and we know the Lord, and unless we get the touch of the Lord, these obstacles will stand on the way. Disease. The first obstacle is disease. We have a nice explanation that we were not doing well, therefore we had to stop the practice. We are obliged to do it. The second thing is idea to discontinue. Alright, we have tried this for about 1 year. Let us try Rasa Krishna. We tried it for 1 year. Let us try Freemasonry. We tried it for 1 year. So let us try Hatha Yoga. We tried it for 1 year. Let us see what Ramakrishna Mission is. We tried it for 1 year. Let us meditate Sri Aurobindo. We tried Aurobindo, poor fellow, for 1 year. And let us try the Christ, like that.
For 5 months.
So, the second one is the idea to discontinue. Try